Many of us fibre artists are looking to add a sustainable element to our creative practice. And one of the ways we can do that is by using recycled fibres. But they're not always as easy to work with as fibres that haven't been spun or used in some way before. In my last video, I showed you how I combine wool and recycled sari silk to make a really lovely yarn. And in this video, I'm going to be looking at how you spin sari silk or recycled sari silk fibre by itself to make a 100% pure recycled sari silk yarn. Try and say that 3 times fast. If you're new here, my name's Becca. I'm a hand spinner, knitter and newbie weaver, and you're very welcome to my home in West Wales. And if you're an old friend, welcome back. Okay, so what is recycled sari silk? So I've got some here, and basically when we buy it in the UK, it's been processed into tops, and we're going to just spin it off the end, but we're going to look at how you can do that effectively. I'm also going to show you in comparison to a non-recycled silk, so you can just see what the difference is, and I'll turn the camera around so you can see these in a bit more detail. So here we have our recycled sari silk fibre, and you can see, if I sort of separate it out a bit, that it's got a few sort of lumps and bumps in it. And let's pull some of the fibres out. You can see the staple length. So when we go to spin this, we're not going to spin the whole staple length at once. We're going to go halfway along. So that length there, that is going to be how far we draw the fibres out. It's really key when spinning silk that you don't let the twist go beyond where you're holding the fibre. It can be quite tiring spinning silk, but because it needs lots of twist to hold it together, you can actually treadle quite slowly. And I'm just going to show you. Okay, so if we take all this fibre and we twist it like that, there is no way you could draft off that. So if you're spinning from the end and you've let your twist get back here, you're just never going to pull it apart. So hopefully you'll be able to see in a bit more detail when I'm spinning. I'm sure you'll be able to tell what I'm doing. So we're just going to take a few fibres, put lots of twist in them because they're very strong, so you don't need very many fibres. But also you need lots of twist because silk sticks to everything apart from itself. When you're spinning this, if you've got a silk scarf to hand, if you lay that over your lap, you're going to stop getting all these little bits of fibre all over your apron. Because if you're wearing a cotton apron, the fibre will just stick to them. So I'm not sure I've got anything, but I'm going to try and see if I've got something so I'm not completely covered in silk fibres at the end of it. So that's our recycled sari silk. And let's look at it next to silk that is not recycled. Now, apologies, this has been in my stash and it is full of little bits of other things. But you can see, if I sort of pull it apart, it hasn't got those lumps and bumps in it that the sari silk has. So we're going to get a much, much smoother yarn if we're just spinning silk. I mean, it's a real luxury fibre, so we're going to get a real luxury finish. As spinning this, we're going to get more of a rustic finish. Anyway, that's enough of me chatting, so let's turn the camera around and see how it spins. Although I didn't have a silk scarf, I do have some offcuts of satin, so I picked up this lovely pink and started spinning, only to realise that you actually couldn't see what I was doing with the pink fibre up against the pink satin. So, take 2, I found a blue piece. So you can see that the fibres actually show up much better against this blue. And I found that I was joining from the side when I was joining this fibre. Obviously you can join from the end, but I was finding I was just joining from the side, and that was working really well for me.
So you can see I'm doing very, very small movements, but I'm not letting that twist run into the drafting triangle that is controlled by my backhand. So from a slightly different angle, you can see I'm just joining down the side. I'm not that bothered about how thick or thin this yarn is, because it's going to have a rustic look, because it's got those lumps and bumps in it, because it's a recycled fibre. So I'm just joining from the side, and then little short movements in front of the orifice. And again, if you can see from over my shoulder, I'm not making huge movements when I'm doing this. I'm treadling fairly slowly. The tension is really low because I want lots and lots of twist, so this fibre is going to hold together, because it hasn't got the properties that wool has that naturally hold the wool together. I'm only spinning out quite a small sample, but I am moving my hooks, or moving along my hooks, quite rapidly, so that my bobbin doesn't become unbalanced as I'm spinning. So there we go. I've left it as a single because I'm doing some weaving experiments at the moment, and I want to play around with singles. But this is a plied one that I did a few weeks ago. You'll have to excuse the scrap yarn. But I mean, this was spun really, really tight, and you can see it's very soft, and I mean, it would drape if you knitted it up. But it's good fun. You can see what good fun it is, and you've got lots of texture in there. And I thought I'd compare that with the yarn that I made with the blended wool and sari silk in my last spinning video. And you can see different effects that you can get. So there you go. Playing with sari silk, or recycled sari silk. Thank you for watching. I hope you found that useful. Now you know how YouTube works, so if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you'd like to see more content on fibre art, then please hit the subscribe button. So I will say goodbye until next time, and happy creating.